Hello, everyone. Welcome again. We're going to go back into Seville, everybody. But before we go, why don't we reintroduce ourselves? Even though there's been a little bit of an intro that you don't know it exists yet. Sorry, guys, but it does. So why don't you introduce yourself again, so people can know who was basically talking to? Let's start with Mr. Inspector Francisco Martinez. I'm going to call you Paco.
Hi, I'm Terry Morn. I'm playing Francisco Martinez, police inspector who's returned to his hometown of Seville to look into the mysteries of that have come across his desk, and has been very perturbed and very kind of stricken by what he's found at the nunnery from last episode. So he's kind of mulling that through at the moment and trying to work out what's the best step to take next.
Good. Mr. Simon, hello.
Hi, I'm Simon Taylor. I'm playing Father Rodrigo Montez, a Jesuit priest, represented on this beautifully succinct Cthulhu hat character sheet. He's a 31-year-old Jesuit priest from Algeciras, and his faith is not being tested in any way, shape, or form, and anybody that says otherwise is wrong. Maybe.
Of course.
Yeah.
And Mark, hello.
Hi, I'm Mark Carroll. I'm playing Martin Carrasco, the scarred World War I veteran who seems pretty readily accepting of the weirdness that's going on, and also managed to shock everybody else here last session by saying that our apparent villain might well just get himself murdered.
Good. Okay. That would be a rather interesting turn of affairs, I have to say. But before you get a chance to do any of that, you have to attend to a funeral that's going to take place today at 10 a.m. In last episode, you all went to sleep after having a very deep conversation regarding what you were prepared to do with this gentleman. And this morning at 7:30, you get a gentle knock on your door, and the house mistress of the hostel you are staying calls on to you to wake up and get ready. It is somehow as if she knows that today you must do something rather gloomy.
I see what you did there.
Gloomy. So, so you hear, gentlemen, please wake up. The breakfast will be waiting for you. She speaks very partial of a sudden.
Fine. Yep, go down for breakfast.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
Get dressed appropriately first, obviously.
You did arrange with the family that you would be getting together with them at the convent. So you don't have to worry about them arriving. You just have to, brush your teeth, have some breakfast, and make sure that you are wearing your besties.
Indeed.
Are you going to do anything in particular before heading toward or arriving at the convent?
In my own case, I don't think so, no. I think prepare myself mentally for what's about to happen. But other than that, no. Say a few prayers, as always.
Same here, minus the prayers.
Fair enough. Inspector?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything I'm going to do while I'm actually here. I mean, it's going to be a pretty bad idea to kind of get out photos and files and re-examine them in the hostelry. So I'm literally just going to take the morning to kind of readjust, rethink, and kind of make most of a decent breakfast, hopefully.
Okay. You are served a very typical breakfast consisting of some toast with some olive oil and some salt, and a cup of white coffee, which, yes, I know that some viewers, they may think that this sounds absolutely horrible, but trust me, it's absolutely incredible and you should try it. And this is for real, not in role-playing games. The coffee is strong and bitter, as it should be, and you basically head on to the convent. The order of events is going to be that there's going to be a mass that's going to be officiated in the chapel. As you go into the chapel, it's a lavishly ornated place. It's so beautiful. You've been there before. And this time, the whole place is divided by this very heavy metal grid that separates the first 3 pews from the rest, which are another 10 rows. So you cannot possibly move ahead. However, and surprisingly, Rosario's parents are both already on the first row with the Mother Superior.
Okay. Nobody else unexpected in there, though?
Not that you can see. There's absolutely nobody else coming in except the 3 of you.
Okay. We were told we needed to sit somewhere separate, weren't we?
Well, you can sit as close to the grid as you want. It's like, imagine there's some sort of portcullis.
Yeah.
So you can sit as close to that as you possibly can or want.
I've got an idea about this. What I would like to do is position myself at the back of the chapel. That way, anyone else coming in will have to sit in front of me.
Perfect.
Anyone who's not sitting will be standing, possibly would have to stand behind me. So I want to sit at the very back of the church.
Excellent. Yeah, whereas I will sit right at the front to be visible.
Okay.
I'll be the visible target.
Martin Carrasco.
And he's going to sit round about the middle, just so we get good coverage on that. He's here. He's concerned about the girl, obviously, but he's more concerned. She's gone. She's beyond any kind of pain. Her family is hurting, and they need some justice. So he's going to be keeping an eye out for anything unusual right there, just kind of centrally located in the pews.
Paco, I will obviously make sure I've observed the correct process and procedure, cross myself, knelt, etc., before I take my seat.
Okay, perfect. You can see how immediately in front of the altar there is yet another portcullis, and from behind a little door to the right of the altar as you're standing opens, and the nuns and stays open. The nuns begin to arrive from the side, and they sit and occupy the first 3 rows of pews as it is expected. From the door, a priest arrives, comes out with 2 little boys, 2 monaguillos, 2 altar boys, and the mass begins. There is a small coughing, but you can see that it is basically the size of a child. You can all understand that that's basically because there wasn't enough remains to fill a proper adult-sized coffin. So they thought it would be more respectful to just have something like a shoebox, a bit bigger, perhaps. Inspector, could you please make a roll for roll lanterns for me, please. But if you see me looking back, both 3 of you and the viewers, that's because my dog is trying to chew some of my maps, and I'm trying to avoid it. Sorry. So, Terry, I cannot hear you.
You're on mute, Terry. We just
3.
Okay. You hear somebody kind of whimpering very, very softly, immediately behind you to your left, where the door is actually located.
Right. I've got a shiny cigarette case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it up and see if I can see the person behind me without turning around.
You can indeed, and you can see an absolutely stunning redhead standing by the doorframe, about 2 feet away from you to your back. That's why you couldn't see her. She's immediately outside the church. It's as if she didn't want to go in.
And do I recognize this person at all?
You do not.
Not.
Well, she's crying.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna, being the artist that I am, prior to my job with the service, I'm going to make a little sketch in my notebook of her and try and capture her likeness.
As you do that, you know, the whole thing goes on and on and on and on and on. There's a mass that lasts about 45 very long minutes with some singing and some, oh my God, poor thing, and some words from the Mother Superior and a lot of tears. And the whole thing's very tragic, as you can imagine. And eventually it ends. It ends, and you're all invited to step outside and head to the little cemetery.
Okay.
Are you going to?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Inspector, as you turn around, give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kill my dog. Get out. Out. That's it. Sorry. As you head out, you see this woman turning around and heading toward the cemetery as well. She's wearing very discreet clothes, by the way, as if she knows why she's there. Also, off the corner of your eye, you see another man by the wall of the convent. It's about 30 yards away. And you know him.
Oh, who's this then?
That is Vicente, and he is a reporter from a nearby newspaper in Algeciras.
Right. Okay. Interesting. I'll catch up with him later. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and catch up to the red-headed lady and introduce myself, and then ask her if she knew the family well.
Oh, hello. Yes. Oh, hi. Of course, my name is Anna. I'm sorry, and you are?
I'm Inspector Martinez. I'm obviously here at the family's behest. Did you know the family well? You talk.
Well, you could say that. Since, well, Rosario and I kind of grew up together until she left, and we've been friends all our lives. Did you know
her? Sadly, I did not know her. I'm new to your town. You say you knew each other from an early age? Is that correct?
We were 3 years old when we met.
Okay. Oh wow, that's quite a time together. Were you aware of kind of her decision to leave at that time?
I was not. I only knew that she needed to go because I received her last letter. But I didn't hear from her after that, and I didn't get any reply to any of my letters or telegrams.
So what did she indicate in her last letter to you?
I don't think this is the right moment to talk about that, Inspector. Maybe we can
possibly
get together
maybe
later.
That sounds perfectly fine to me. That's wonderful. Thank you. Any leads or any help I can get from you in order to kind of resolve this for the family, it would be gratefully appreciated. Maybe we can pick a time.
Yes, I mean, needless to say, I will be able to give you as much help as I possibly can. Of course.
Well, maybe I can buy you a coffee later.
Maybe you can come to my place where we can meet in a more discreet environment.
That works just as well. Thank you. Give me a time and a place, and I will be there.
Yes. Shall we meet at 4 p.m.? And she produces a little card of her purse and hands it to you, and looks at the two of you who are just arriving. And said, "Hello, Father."
Do I recognise her?
No,
okay.
You do not.
I don't. Oh, okay. Good afternoon. Sorry, do I know you?
No, Father, you do not.
Oh. Okay. Lovely funeral. Very moving.
Yes, one I think we all wish never happened. At least
always.
Not yet.
Always, but especially so in.
But it is very nice to make your acquaintance, nevertheless.
Yes. I'm a bit too focused on the other family members, I think, to engage with them much more. And I can see the inspector's already spoken to her. So, yes, well.
And who may you be, sir?
Martin Carrasco. I'm a friend of the family and here with the inspector.
Oh, it is ever so nice of the three of you to have come. And I hope, did the threesome of you come together?
Yes.
Fantastic. I think we better head off towards this.
I think quite right.
Okay.
Paco, does she
I hand her a handkerchief. Men always carry handkerchiefs so they can hand them to a lady who's in distress. I'm going to give her my handkerchief.
Okay. She graciously accepts it. Simon, what were you going to say?
Does she just seem a little bit upset about what's going on? Or it seems a little bit more. It seems like she's a bit put out that we're there almost. Is that?
You can tell that she's looked at you funny. Funnier than she's looked at both the inspector or Martin.
Okay. She's not looking around. It's not like she's aware that anybody might be watching her or anything like that.
No, she's just looking at you funny.
Assuming she's going to come to the grave side with us, I'm just going to quickly whisper to Frank. So, who's she?
This is Anna. Apparently, she's a long-term friend of the deceased. Apparently, they've known each other since they were children. Her name's not cropped up before, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, and I spoke to all of Rosario's friends, or a group of her friends, before we left Algeciras.
And I'm surprised as well, because a redhead in the town, I would have assumed I would have noticed her.
I'm sure you would have noticed, yes.
Well, yeah, I what are you saying? What expressions are you casting there?
You have an eye for the lady, it's well known.
He would have been noticed, or at least been kind of part of the investigation and been mentioned in the notes. And there's no mention of her in the investigating notes at all. She does say that she has a final letter from Rosario, though, which I'm quite interested to see and to see what she has to say.
You head towards the cemetery, where
Yeah.
you can see the nuns have been arranged at what you could say is a safe distance from you. And you see 3 nuns with their sleeves up who've been digging the grave quite deeply. As they bring the coffin, you hear from behind a massive sobbing, and this time you can all recognize it comes from a man. It's not Anna.
Who is it? Is it a father or is it somebody else?
It is not somebody. It is somebody else. It's you look back, and you see this man who is like 30 yards away, as if he's trying to stay behind and not be seen. As you see that, all of a sudden, the intense feeling of being watched overwhelms all of you and gives you a massive chill in your spine, and your hairs on the back of your neck, assuming you have some, get erected like nails in a porcupine's back. That sounded a lot better in my head.
That one might need a bit of work.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean. Casting my eye about, trying to see. Does it look like it's coming from him? Feel like it's coming from him, or
no? In fact, it starts to look around, beyond nervous, and as he looks at the 3 of you, and immediately starts walking toward you, big, massive strides, shouting, "You sense it! You can sense it too! It's not me! I'm not going! It's you!
Easy.
You can sense it!"
Paco, whilst Martin's calming him down, I just want to check everybody else. I'll let you carry on with that, but just be aware, I'm not facing that direction now. I'm looking at the nuns and and particularly the parents and Anna, see whether or not they're reacting as well. But I'll let you do that bit.
Right. The parents, Anna's parents are absolutely not Anna's parents, but Rosario's parents. They're absolutely too bereft and too absolutely gutted to be feeling anything other than grief for their daughter. They're crying massively as the nuns are starting to bring the coffin. You do see, though, how all of the nuns suddenly begin to look away, and they begin to, genuflex, and as if they don't really, they're trying their level best to ignore this feeling. But you can tell that they're all feeling it. The only one that you can see looking around in defiance is the Mother Superior. It is as if she's expecting, hoping that whatever it is watching at the moment comes out, so she can just deal with it face to face.
Okay. Sorry, Martin, I interrupted you.
No, I am definitely going to be trying to calm this fella down. If nothing else, out of respect at the funeral, but also because we're being watched. And we don't need to bring attention from whatever this is onto anybody else. I mean, these people have suffered enough. We're here to help rather than do anything untoward.
He becomes increasingly anxious.
Hey,
as you try to talk to him, and what? No, I've seen you with his goons. You have something to do with this. I don't know why you are here. And you, Father, were you able to protect her? No, you were not. And what about you? You think yourself a policeman? What kind of shitty work did you do that you were not able to protect her ever at any point? And what
Martin's
going
to slap him.
Here?
I'm going to slap him.
You slap him.
A vicious one. Yeah.
He lashes back at you with a fist.
Easy. Take it. Look.
Roll your dexterity.
Okay. Where's my character sheet? There you are.
As Mark is doing that, Father, you see how the Mother
Looking
Superior.
good.
You see how the Mother Superior, as she starts to see that this is taking place, she looks at one of the nuns and says something in her ear, and the nun runs into the coven and disappears. Mark.
Yep, got a 4, so looking good.
You managed to avoid his...
Easy. Listen. We do see, and I'm not with him. We're trying to find out what his involvement is. I need you to calm down.
I will calm down when he's been dealt with. This is all Ramon.
That's why we are
and
here.
He tries to slap at you again. He's trying now to get close to the coffin. And he begins to kind of scream and sob, and that he took her away from me. He took her away from me.
Let's you and I go talk somewhere quiet, and you can tell me. My friends and I are here to help.
He is resisting quite badly. You're not going to be able to calm him down. He's basically having some sort of anxiety attack. I mean, you know that your character does not know that, because the time an anxiety attack would be something else.
Do I recognise him from Aldetheros?
Yes, you all do.
Okay. Do I know his name?
Yes. Vicente.
Ifende, you say? So, Ifende, calm.
He punches you. He punches you. Roll your dexterity, please.
I actually rolled my dexterity. I rolled exactly my dexterity.
Then, because you fail, to succeed, you need to roll under your dexterity. So, but because you roll, your cheek hits his fist as his fist travels into a completely random direction that I don't think he even knows what's happening, and you sit back, stumbling, and then you nearly fall back on your ass.
Okay, at this point, since Martin's figured, I'm guessing, Paco, since you said that this guy is not going to calm down. He's seen people like this before.
Yeah.
If he's not going to calm down, Martin is a big, beefy guy, and he is going to, granted as gently as possible, basically physically haul this guy away from the funeral so he's not making a scene and upsetting the family, and also bringing more attention down on all of us from whatever it is that's watching.
Okay. Roll your strength, please.
Sure. Just under.
Just under. Okay, you manage to go behind him, but you're struggling a little bit yourself as well, because you're also fighting with this feeling of being watched, which is very destructive.
Mm-hmm.
It's as if there's something else than just being watched. There's something more that you can't describe, and you're having difficulties, concentrating on anything else. But eventually, after a couple of minutes, you manage to hold him in a grip that stops him from being able to move. But you also have difficulties moving yourself. The nuns are quite, oh my God, what's going on? As are the parents of Rosario, who are now looking at the whole thing with weepy eyes, just like wondering, don't we have enough? I mean, do we also need to put up with this kind of nonsense?
Yeah, Martin is looking embarrassed. He is shooting them a very apologetic look, and he is trying to, given his distracted state, at least convey that he's trying to keep this guy from causing a scene. Well, okay, more of a scene.
Right, I'm going to put myself in between this guy, with Martin holding him, and the group. Okay, and I'm going to assist Martin getting the gentleman away from the funeral.
Okay.
And then offering kind of calming words, trying to calm the situation down by offering calming words, and telling him obviously it's It's nothing to do with his fault. It is something that that we will bring a resolution to. But causing a scene in front of the grieving families is neither the time nor the place to do it.
He keeps, shouting, this is, you did this, you didn't stop this from happening, this is all to do with you. You must be looking at you, Martin, you must be in cahoots with Ramon. I'm sure he did this, and I can prove it. I know I can prove it, and I will find out, and I will do the job that you haven't done. All of that is happening, but just a couple of minutes later, unusually quick, a couple of policemen come into the gardens where all this is taking place, and approach you and said, "Okay, we'll take care of him." And grab him.
I'll inquire the officers whether. Oh, sorry. You need to know where they're taking him, because
Oh, he is coming to the station with us, of course.
Okay, I'll accompany them.
He will come down in no, so we do not need you to come with us. Thank you.
No, I insist.
No, you do not come with us unless you also want to go.
I'll show them my warrant card and say, obviously, I have superiority to them.
Yeah, and they look at you and they look at the card and say, "Inspector, your jurisdiction stops in Algeciras. So we will take this man as we see fit. Thank you."
Now, can I take the names and numbers then?
Yeah.
And who they report to?
Yeah, absolutely. They give you all the information. They're doing it all by the book, but it's just that they really don't want any kind of interference. They want to do this the way they're used to doing things. You reckon by the speed at which they have arrived that this is some sort of special agreement that the police may have with the convent to make sure that nothing happens to neither the convent nor the possessions inside. Because as you have seen when you visited, there are a lot of valuable in that building.
And do we see the nun that was sent in by the Mother Superior coming back out at this point?
Oh yeah, she came back just like a minute later. She basically went in to call the police.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's fine. That was me expecting her to bring out a vial of holy water or something.
No, but I mean the thing is that the priest who's officiating the whole thing, he has the vial of holy water.
Okay. Whilst all this was going on, I went over instead to the parents, to Rosario's parents, to comfort them and to try and get them focused back again on the funeral itself, not on the external events.
Okay.
And where is the journalist in all of this, Paco?
That's the journalist.
That was the journalist.
That Vicente was the journalist.
Ah, okay. I get it now. Right. That's why we recognised him then from the town.
Correct. Okay. Eventually everything calms down a little bit, and the funeral ends with the remains of Rosario being buried.
Paco, can I just clarify the burial site, the place where she was being buried? It's the right place. It is consecrated ground. There's nothing wrong about where they've placed her or anything like that. They are treating her as one of theirs.
They are treating her as one of them. And I mean, this is the small cemetery that the convent has for their own nuns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can see it about 50 or 70 tombstones and a small mausoleum.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sorry to check.
So everything ends. The nuns go back inside. 2 grieving parents are left.
When did the feeling of being watched dissipate?
It dissipated about a couple of minutes after they took away this man.
Okay. I don't hold out a lot of hope for him. Out of character. Okay.
So everyone leaves. You're left behind outside the convent. What are you going to do?
Well, I do still want permission to go back to her cell, don't I? Oh, I can't believe I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'll seek out the Mother Superior and say, would it be possible for me to revisit her room?
The Mother
Something
Superior
my colleague.
looks at you and says, yes, but not now. We need to grieve.
I understand. Has the room been blessed since?
Father, you are in a convent. The whole building is blessed.
But has it been specifically blessed since the death?
Yes. What are you getting at, Father?
Something horrible took place there. I just wanted to check that it had been treated in the way it should be.
Father, I would like to speak with liberty, please.
Please do.
We are not children who need to be coiled by the men of God. We don't need to be cradled, looked after, or by any stretch of the imagination pampered by men who have just arrived at this holy place to come and try to teach us and tell us what is it that we must do or how to conduct our business. So can you please share that little bit of decency and trust in the fact that I have been running this convent since probably before you have been born, and let me do my job as you do yours without my interference. Thank you.
Mother Superior, I would remind you of the discussions we had yesterday in your room. You yourself were upset by the events. That much was apparent. I'm merely offering to help. Don't take this as some personal slur, just as I didn't take the fact that she died here as anything that you'd done wrong.
Then help at a time when it's actually welcome, which is not now. We need to grieve. Me and my nuns need to be alone, uninterrupted. Thank you for understanding.
Goodbye, Mother Superior.
Thank you. You can tell that she's kind of, piss off.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, I can't go and rub my hands across the scary part of the room. What am I going to do? I'm so upset. Okay.
You're not getting the opportunity to smell the yellow.
Oh. Well, we need to leave. I'll make sure that the family, that Rosario's parents are looked after.
Okay. What are the other two of you going to do? What are you going to stay together? Are you going to split up?
There's that. My initial thought is to kind of make some phone calls to the paper to find out who this guy is, what he's been up to. Secondly, to find out who this Anna person is, and if anybody else knows of this person. And if so, if the journalist is close to Rosario, then what relationship they had and whether he knows Anna would be interesting.
You see Anna heading on with her parents and having a word and hugging and, all very cordial and very familiar.
Okay. So she is known.
Yeah.
She's not some kind of imposter or anything like that, as we know yet. I would like to make a phone call, though, and find somewhere I can make a phone call, whether it's I have to go to a cafe or something, or...
Okay.
Yeah.
Who do you want to call?
I want to call the newspaper.
Okay. Yes, can head onto the cafe that's opposite the road, where they welcome you with open arms, as they start to ask in a relatively not subtle way, what the hell's going on there? Why did the police arrive? What did you do?
I can't give you any information, as it might be pertinent to an ongoing investigation.
Oh
at this
my
time.
God, there is an investigation in the convent going on. At last, I knew that there was going to be some dodgy shit going on in that place, mate. It was about time that you did your job, says the man.
You might say that I couldn't possibly comment.
No, of course you couldn't possibly comment, because otherwise everybody would know what they must do. No. Your secret is safe with me. Don't you worry. That's absolutely fine. I will not tell a soul that you're investigating the convent. That's fine. Those dodgy nuns.
I didn't say I was investigating the convent at all today.
But you said that you were going on to an ongoing investigation, so you must be investigating something.
There is an ongoing investigation, whether that has any relationship to the convent or not.
Well, then why wouldn't you be in the convent? Anyway, how can I help? Don't worry. I will say nothing else. That's fine. Don't worry about me. Can
you borrow your telephone, please? And I'd like to have an espresso.
Of course.
Thank you.
Takes the phone and he goes to make the espresso. As he gets as close as possible, looking over his shoulder, you can try to hear what you're about to say. So,
I'm going to turn my back so it's hard to hear. If I can take the phone somewhere private. No, I obviously first things first. I want to call the newspaper that he works for, and just find out firstly if they knew he was here, and kind of what kind of stories he's been working on recently.
Okay, you call, and Miguel Andrades picks up the phone, who is the editor of this new paper called Area. And, well, hello, how can I help you? Who are you?
Hello, it's Francisco. Francisco Martinez, police inspector.
Inspector, hi, yes. How may I be of assistance?
On many occasions, yeah. There's been a bit of crack this morning, involving one of your journalists.
Who?
I give him the name. I don't give him the full extent of the what happened, but I do say that he was overcome with grief at the funeral.
Oh my God, that boy! I knew that he was going to give you problems. I knew it. I knew it, Inspector. I knew it. Oh, I should never, ever, ever employed single people. Oh, ever. You know, they fall for the first girl with the skirt above her ankles, and all of a sudden they just see a small foot or a toe, and suddenly they are like, oh, this is the girl of my life. Oh, yeah, I want to marry her. And then they don't pay them any attention, and they go, oh, no, she loves me. She just doesn't know that yet. And then somebody else appears, and they think, oh my God, he's taking her away from me. I'm never hiring a single man again.
So how long have they been going or stepping out together at this point?
Oh, they've never been stepping out or going out together. Come on, man. How could a girl like that look after a nobody like Vicente?
Well, so how long did he have an infatuation with Rosario?
I don't know. Months? Many months? Many months. I mean, he's been obsessed. It's like it got worse. It got really worse when actually she disappeared. And he couldn't think of anything else. And he was going Ramon this and Ramon that. And it was like, oh my God, I want you to tell me about anything else. I don't want to hear about her anymore. Just go away. And I thought that with her appearing there, that everything would be over. But no. The boy has to go to Seville. I don't know how he got there, because he got no way to get there, and yet there he is. I tell you, at the very least, he is resourceful. You know, if he can calm down and horn down a little bit, I might still be able to make a journalist out of him. You can tell that this man could be talking for hours and hours and hours. You know, it's like he breathes outwards only.
Well, the more people talk, the more they give things away. So I'm not going to interrupt him at any point.
Okay, half an hour later, he's told you absolutely
The investigator do is not ask the question, just listen to the reportage he gives. Obviously, I'm aware of the cost of the phone call, though. So what I will do is I'll book in a time to come and visit him, and we can talk and maybe share a bottle of wine at some point and see what can be done.
Okay, as you put the phone down, your espresso evidently is gone really cold, and the barkeeper looks at you and does. You're a bit of a pain, isn't he?
I just smile and drink my espresso. I'll say no more.
Okay.
Best defense is always silence. So that's one phone call. The next thing I want to know, and I'm deeply worried about, is how he's being treated.
Okay.
So I assume he's been locked up at this point.
Yes, he is. Before we go into that, Father Rodrigo Martin, you see the inspector, how he's putting his listening skills to the test as he looks around at the phone, and you can tell how his fist has been clenching, in like, oh my God, give me strength. Why won't he shut up? He's not telling me anything that I need to know. It's been kind of torturous to watch this scenario. What have you been doing meanwhile?
Other than admiring a master at work, asking the other people in the bar about the convent. We've kind of not really fished for much about what people think of it, and also whether what they heard from the outside on the night of her death. So I'm going to be, buying drinks for people and generally engaging them in that kind of chat.
Okay, roll me for lanterns, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, you get a barrage of rumors about how it is quite fortuitous that a lot of people put the convent in their wills only to die very quickly after, 3 or 4 years after, and they die. You don't fail to notice that everybody who's done that, according to the description of the people around, there are people in their 80s and their 90s. So
right. No great surprise then.
Well, no, it's just that they are suspicious, superstitious people, but you can tell that what they're telling you is nothing.
And is some of it just kind of friend of a friend type gossip? They heard it happen once, and now they've made up another 7 instances.
Yes. It's kind of, it is like that. There's nothing, judging by what you know of the convent, and what people are telling you, the convent is run, immaculately.
Meticulously. Well, but on that particular night, I'll kind of work my way through that to get to the good stuff. And say, so on the night, when was that? We had the date, didn't we? Whenever it was, however many nights ago it was there anything different about the convent? Did you hear anything? Any sounds?
Nothing.
See anything?
No, absolutely nothing. Nobody can give you any kind of information of any use.
Not seen anybody out of the ordinary in the bar. Nobody else from Algeciras has been here in the bar.
No.
Okay, it's a dead end. Okay. Well, I'll take me probably as long as the inspector's tortuous phone call.
Yes, Mark.
Martin, before they leave the cemetery, is going to, with his hat in his hand, very visibly upset by what happened, is going to approach the father. I'm sorry that happened. I thought I could perhaps get him away before anything
You
happened.
Don't worry. You did what you could, and I can only imagine what it would have been like if you hadn't been there, Martin. So, thank you. I genuinely appreciate
You go take care of your wife.
that. Will we see you later?
Of course.
Thank you. Okay. We'll see you later.
Yes. And then he'll go over to the cafe. It bothers him that he couldn't do anything there because he's one of those goal-focused people, and we're here to get justice for her.
Okay. You enter the bar and you see the priest talking to people as he looks, superstitiously at a very, very tense inspector who's holding the phone as if it's actually strangling it.
What's Frank's favorite drink?
Espresso.
What's Frank's favorite liquor? Because he may need some after this.
Yeah. That would normally be a nice bottle of very fine red wine.
What's his second favorite liquor?
Martinis? I don't know, anything that's wet.
I'll get him a beer. Because Martin sure as hell going to have one after that.
Yeah.
Okay. You get a beer.
Breakfast beers.
It's drinking time somewhere.
Well, the sun is over the yardarm, so. Wow. That's going to be an interesting interview when we go back. Is that what I say to the group?
So
as I sit down.
What are you going to do now?
Well, we're sat at the table at the moment, enjoying a beverage, I think. So, I'm going to leave. We're going to leave it a little while before we turn up at the station.
How long is that? It's about midday now.
Yeah, so if we've got 40 minutes or so, and then we'll make our way towards the station. I think is what I'd like to do.
Okay, so you can have your tapas in the meanwhile, put a little bit of jamón con queso in your tummies.
I don't know. We probably haven't got the stomach for food at the moment, considering the gaze of death that we've had again.
You want me to make you roll for Constitution and see if you're up for it or not?
No. Coffee and cigarettes at the moment.
Okay.
Father,
yeah,
if I may, this sensation we keep experiencing.
Yes.
How do you fathom it? And if so, is there any kind of protection against it?
I've never encountered anything like it. Obviously, when I've experienced the presence of God, when I've prayed, that's a wholesome feeling. It's a positive feeling. This isn't in any way, shape, or form like that. I'm not going to say it's the gaze of Lucifer or any such thing. No, of course not. It's the fact that we all experience it at the same time. I'm sure we've all had those experiences where we felt we were being watched from somewhere or prickled on the skin, but not for us all to experience it at the same time. That I have no explanation. I cannot think of any experience like it. So how do we protect against it? All we can do is call upon God's grace to protect us, but it's not protected me so far. So this is something wholly human, wholly personal. Of course it is. It can't be any. It can't be anything else, can it?
I didn't know if there was any kind of precedence for it. We hear of exorcisms and rites that take place where similar sort of things happen, where presences are brought to bay. You also,
Of course.
that linked to kind of the distortions that we've been seeing in the pictures and the evisceration, and so it's quite difficult to kind of talk about because it just brings up the images all the time for me of eyes and bricks.
Paco, I mean, I will rack my brains for a spiritual equivalent. I personally am drawing a blank at the moment, but with Father Rodrigo Montes' greater ecclesiastical knowledge, it's like it's the complete converse of Saul on the road to Damascus, isn't it? It's like it's the complete flip side. I don't know. Is there anything that I'm missing that?
No, I mean, you can imagine that this could be the work of the devil.
Yeah.
But you have never heard of any manifestation of a demon getting to this point. You've heard of people hurting themselves. You've heard of people being, with wounds, with pustules and that sort of thing, but never to this extent. Do you think it's impossible? No.
Okay.
But you don't feel that this is what's happening here either.
No.
Frank, the only thing that I can conceive of is during the Great Witch Trials, when the Inquisition was at its most active, when the English were having their problems with witching, there were then, yes, you would say that witches were able to watch you from afar and they would call upon the power of the devil, and maybe, but unlike those fake religions and other beliefs where they have protection against the evil eye and such like, for me, it's merely the crucifix. I will clutch my crucifix tight around my neck. That's all that I need to protect me from such things. Yes.
Martin, just wondering how Martin weighs in. I mean, you've experienced some things. I mean, you've told us of some of your experiences. I mean, how do you see this? What's your thoughts?
You asking my opinion as a man, as a soldier, or as a trench philosopher?
I'm asking your opinion as a man. As you, what is your opinion?
The evil that men do is sufficient unto the day. And that is what I think this is. If there is the devil involved, it is not directly. It is someone using the tools of such. As for witch trials, you know that Kramer and Spengler wrote the Malleus Maleficarum as a political treatise against their enemies, yes? It was a scam. I would not look to the Inquisition, Padre, as a reliable source of information. But something is going on here. And I say that it is a man doing it because only a man could be so messy, so obvious. This is arrogance that we are running into. This is someone who believes they cannot be caught. And if someone were to speak against them, who would believe them? I would say that we need to keep a very close eye on our reporter friend, though.
Agreed.
Because if whoever our enemy is could get to the girl in a convent, I dare say that a jail cell will not be much more protection.
I concur. And with that, I say that's our next border call.
And on the way there, Frank, what did you agree with Anna?
She obviously she gave me a card and said she would discuss the final letter with me at 4 p.m. At the location.
It's now about 1?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of hours before.
Okay.
To go there.
Excellent.
That's, of course, if we get access to him. And I don't know how much sway I will have at the station, but we'll certainly try.
Oh, there's your friend at the station that loves it.
There is.
And if not, I can say I've come to take his confession.
Good point.
That may carry sway.
Unlikely, but we'll give it a go. So anyway, should we hail a cab? Or some kind of conveyance to get us to the station then from there?
The station's about 10 minutes walk from where you are. It's fairly nearby.
Even though it's hot. As long as we keep to the eaves. And of course we're wearing black as well, probably.
Oh, we'll be fine.
We'll spritz on the way.
It's not like we're unused to it, so.
Yeah.
Okay. You arrive at the station. Everything is uneventful. And you get to the front desk that you already know because you came to visit your friend yesterday. Yeah. So the receptionist is there. Hi, how can I help you?
Yes, thank you. You had a gentleman brought in this morning from from my hometown, a journalist, and I wonder if it might be possible to interview him.
I need to talk to the sergeant about that.
Please.
Okay. So she appears, comes back, and a police officer who is uncharacteristically chewing gum comes to you and says, "Oh, you're the inspector."
Inspector.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to see this man? Are you going to take him with you, please?
We can.
Good.
Yes. If I could have room to interview him first, though, before we depart.
Sure. No problem. If you're going to take him, that's fine. It's fine. Absolutely fine. Well, 3 of you coming together, gentlemen?
Myself, my officer, and obviously the priest to hear any confession he might have.
Of course, confessions. Yes. Come on. Let's go. For being a man in his 40s, he's kind of behaving like some sort of university student who doesn't give a shit about anything. Just, the thought of you taking him away is a bit like, oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shock, but we'll follow as much procedure as we can.
Okay.
In terms of making sure all the paperwork's correct, but yeah.
Right.
Don't want recall.
It takes you through a corridor that's very dimly lit by some bulbs on the ceiling, and then leads you downstairs onto a cellar where there are several cells on both sides. That's a very typical, very common thing on police stations in town, where the cellar, which is very badly ventilated, but it's also the safest place because they are very unlikely to escape, has the cells. So he turns some lights on in the corridor. And
do we hear noises coming from the other cells as though there are other people here?
You can see some breathing, as if there's some people sleeping. There's some snoring going on, but they're mostly empty. You can tell there are eight cells. Out of those, maybe you hear noises from 2 of them. But there are other people there, and none of them are freaking out. That's good. No. So it's a good sign. Yeah. They're all okay. The cell he's approaching, you see 4 cells on each side of the corridor. And it's approaching the 3rd cell. And as he produces a bunch of keys and puts it in the lock and turns the lock, you all begin to smell an awful lot of smell of yellow.
Oh, hell.
Sweet Christmas.
Hello.
As he turns the key and you hear a loud clunk from the lock being, unlocked.
I'm stepping back.
You begin to hear really, really loud the sound of perpendiculars all over the place that mix together with that scent of yellow in your brains. And that sound of perpendiculars suddenly becomes overwhelmingly loud.
Oh,
You can't describe it. And you start to hear some serious screaming.
get the door open.
You are you are on the other side of the corridor, about, let's say, 10 yards away.
I'm with you to run forward. I'm getting my cross out and starting reciting in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, etc., etc.
Before you get to the second nomine Patris, you hear the sound of skin being rendered and torn apart as a muffled scream coming out of a throat that is not in its right place anymore begins to fade before it even starts.
Quickly!
The man
Moving forward.
The man immediately opens the door and screams so loud that I think you never thought a man could possibly scream like that. Not any human could possibly scream like that. And as he screams, you see him being projected from the threshold of the door back against the other side of the corridor, and his skull crushed against the wall, just to plummet down on the floor.
Is there normally with cells and things like that, there's an alarm button or a fire alarm button or something like that? Can I locate that and hit it
Yes.
to alert the building? That's what I'm going to do, is hit the buzzer.
Yep. You hit the buzzer. What are the two of you going to do?
Martin's going to be a complete idiot here. He's going to rush in there. He knows this guy is dead. But he's going to at least try to do something.
Okay. As you approach, and if you look into the Discord channel, I'm going to send you an image that I'm going to put out for the viewers now.
Oh.
You see this coming out
the corners by any chance?
It's already out, so you don't know where it came from. You also see, Martin, apart from the corpse that's at your feet right now, the policeman, you start to see splashes of blood. Can you please roll your sanity for me?
I will gladly do so.
As should the other two of you, because you can see that creature coming out of the room.
Well,
Looks at you with eyes that are not there.
Out of character, Paco, I know it's going to have zero effect. In character, though, I'm holding the crucifix up and chanting every litany, surgical, whatever that I can think of. All the words from the exorcism jumbled up with an in nomine Patris, with a Hail Mary, with a whatever.
Okay, roll your initiatives and your sanities and see what happens.
Yep, sanity was fine.
2.
Okay.
Check something.
Flight or fly? My reaction is to fly. I'm going to grab the back of Simon's neck and drag him up the hallway.
Okay, you try to do that, but as you try to do that, you start to feel the world beginning to spin around you, and you can barely keep your eyes open. What you're seeing is way too much, and you feel like you're beginning to lose consciousness.
And Paco,
Mhm.
rolled a 2, but Martin has grim determination, so I went ahead and re-rolled that. Came up with a 4. So for a moment, he kind of wavers. That reality just sort of breaking down. He's hearing shells whistling down. He's hearing that dull, wet splat of somebody that was unlucky enough to catch a mortar or an artillery shell. Then he just literally grits his teeth to the point where there's cracks appearing in one of them. And anybody that seems like they're still in danger, he is going to shove the hell out of the way and start yelling at this thing crawling out of a hole, not in the wall, but in everything. Come on, you son of a bitch. Huh? You think I'm afraid of you? Come on!
Take the boy out of Texas.
Oh yeah. Father, what do you roll?
I roll at advantage as well, so I rolled a 5 and an 8.
Okay, it's fine.
On my D10, so yeah, it was fine.
Okay, you're more or less okay. You see how Martin is beginning to lose it, and is beginning to want to actually confront this creature as the inspector begins to fall. The creature jumps towards Martin. And as he jumps toward Martin, falls on the floor, looks back, or its head turns back at you, does some sort of jumps back into the room and disappears.
New underpants, please.
As that happens,
that worked a lot better than I expected.
As that happens, a small army of policemen arrive downstairs, looking at the whole thing, and a few of them, like 3 of them, grab the pistols and point at you.
Yeah,
what did you do?
Put the pistols down. We didn't do it.
Who else?
This is the same as happened at the convent.
What's that smell?
It just is. Put the guns down before somebody gets hurt.
Roll your charisma, please.
Oh, yeah.
And Martin already has an idea, but let's see how well this works.
Failed by a country mile.
Get in that cell. Points at one of the cells that's still locked.
Yeah, the other cells.
Hey, gentlemen, I was in the war. You want to get out of here. It's Fazgene.
Roll your charisma to see how they react to that.
Oh, Jesus. They're already freaking out, so. Where did I put my dice? There it is. All right. Whee! Okay, 1 second. There we go. See, did I? My charisma's not super great, but just barely under 11 out of 12.
Okay, wow. That's by a whisker.
Well, Martin's already kind of shocky looking, so maybe that's what kind of pushes it over the edge there. Fazgene, back up.
They look at you, and one of them that looks a little bit calmer than the rest. It's okay, boys. Let's do our job and investigate this. Let's put our guns down. Let's not get anybody hurt. They gently put their guns down.
And then one of them screams like a banshee.
Yeah, and runs away. No.
I don't even want to know what that was.
Come with me. And it grabs you. Two of the other officers take Inspector Frank in the arms.
Can we point out that there are other people in the other cells and that maybe they need to clear them as well if it's poisonous gas?
And they say, we'll later. Never mind that. Later.
Fair enough. I'll try my best.
Okay, you go upstairs. You're in in one of the small interrogation rooms, I guess, meeting rooms somewhere. Frank, you come back onto yourself again. You wake up.
As soon as I realise I'm in a small room, I leave.
Oh, you are with this. You're with these another two officers who are sweating profusely, and it doesn't look like heat sweat.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be in an enclosed place. I'm gonna either head out into the office or head out into the street quite rapidly.
You're followed by two officers who tell you cannot leave. Inspector, you can't leave. You are the only one who was unconscious. You're the only one who can tell us what happened.
Let me. Got to get my head straight. I light up a cigarette. Try to smoke it. Blow that. I light up a second. Even when you see the thing, you don't see the thing. It's like an impression of the thing, or do you actually see it as a solid mass?
Oh no, it is a solid mass.
No.
I mean, Martin had it at this distance.
Mm.
What are you going to do? You are in this little room with another police officers, Father and Martin. What?
Martin, I didn't experience the war, so I don't know. You'd better explain.
You think I saw something like that in the war?
Well, where else would you find Phosgene?
I lied, man.
They're there as well.
They're there as well. You're supposed to be making up a story.
It's not just us. That's what I'm saying. You're there to explain to the officers what happened.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. You know the smell. It's not the gas itself. It's what happens when it comes into contact with the human body. It's got the stink to it. It's yellow. That's the best way I can describe it. It's just yellow.
Yeah, but where did that gas come from?
It gets inside your fat under the skin.
Yeah, but where did it come from? I don't want to know where it goes. I want to know where it came from and who put it there.
No, it came. You don't understand what I'm saying. It came from him.
From whom?
It gets in the fat and under the man in the cell.
But he had no gas. I mean, you can tell
Yes.
that they are a bit like, what?
What the hell is he talking about? Yeah. And you understand, when you get exposed, sometimes it doesn't get you right away. Sometimes it sits in your body for years. Usually it comes out when you've had a shock or you get agitated. I mean, you saw the state he was in when you brought him in.
But have we been exposed to it?
No.
How can you know? I mean, maybe we're exposed, and now I need to calm down, or I could explode as well. I could smell a yellow. I have a wife and 3 children.
That's why you need to calm down.
I need to calm down.
Calm down.
I don't want to explode. I don't.
You have to get a pretty heavy dose for it to happen. All right.
But how do you know that we haven't had it? You all smell that.
Were you in the war?
I was downstairs in the corridor. That's similar.
Not even close, friend. If you weren't in the war, you would have never gotten enough of a dose for it to do anything but make your eyes water and make you smell yellow. Trust me on this.
So anyway, what was that thing?
Can I come back into the place at this point? And what we're going to have to do is go straight through the procedural. The downstairs is now a crime scene. So first, the prisoners have to be removed. The place has to be sealed off, and the upper echelons need to be informed. And I'll rather than sitting there mulling it and kind of it's kind of like let's kind of get them active and get them doing stuff rather than just sitting there thinking.
As you come in, Commissioner Valverde, who is the man leading the police station, comes into the room. He's a very imposing man with a mustache, like this big, and white hair all over the face. Imagine like Mark Twain with who's friends with a comb and a brush. I'm bigger, way bigger. Oh my God, so much bigger. So comes in. You know him because you've served under him. Okay. You have to go.
Now,
let me explain the situation to you. Since we have people from Algeciras around, things are going bad. So obviously, whatever it is, you are bringing it from your town, and I don't need this kind of situation in my city. So take anybody from your town and go. Evidently, you didn't do what's happened because you couldn't possibly do it, and because you have no blood on you. But you have to go. And don't worry about the remains of that poor man who was killed. Here are his belongings that we took from him when we put him in the cell. We will ship the remains to the family in Algeciras so they can proceed to the funeral anywhere they like but Seville. Any questions? No, good.
No.
Frank, where's the nearest large municipal park that is completely not indoors?
Oh, Seville is plenty. There are plenty of them.
So I'd quite like to go there, I think, to check out his belongings.
They let you go. They basically let you go. There is a massive kerfuffle in the station at the moment, with people coming and going, not exactly knowing what's going on. 20 minutes or half an hour has gone by since all of this happens, and the whole thing's chaos, complete and utter chaos.
Well, to be honest, I'm quite happy to get out of the place. So he given the order to leave is kind of what I wanted. I don't want to stay here any longer than I have to. What I do want to do is before we travel on, is one way obviously have to meet up with the family for return arrangements, but also I want to see Red, Anna. Obviously, when I've composed, you did say, yeah, I want to find out what was in the last letter.
Yeah. Remember, both of you, Terry and Mark, that from now on you roll one die under for your sanity.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Because you failed, so instead of rolling a d10, you will be rolling a d8.
Okay.
Grim Determination lets me redo those checks, and on the second roll was the one I succeeded.
Oh, your pardon. In that case, you're fine. Okay, sorry.
It's just me.
Yes.
Oh, Martin's still pretty shook up. Make no mistake.
Yeah. But
like, well, I just confronted a demon dog that leapt out of a wall. That's going to have an effect.
Well, you don't know if it leapt out of the wall. You didn't see that happening. You only saw the creature jumping off the room. You don't know where it came from or where it left.
You've already seen pictures where it appears to.
Until I had pentangles.
I do want to check out these belongings because I think he's probably got something with him, and I think I'll indulge in something that you've never seen Father Rodrigo do before, which is you show me.
Okay, the belongings are basically a coat, his wallet, a little, jug with some liquor in it, and a small diary.
Oh,
Ah,
I like a diary. Yeah, check the diary.
as a journalist, you didn't have a camera or anything like that?
No.
No, okay. So just the diary. Okay. Well, you can read that if you.
You take a look at the diary, and it's basically taking notes on things that he was investigating, but the last 30 pages that are dated up until Rosario disappeared, they're full with notes of where and when Rosario went with Ramon, but also where Ramon was going. And there are two entries that repeated themselves pretty constantly. And is that at one point he's going toward Benalou. That's where he's getting his car and going toward Benalou. And oftentimes he's going to the mountains. That's all he writes.
Okay. The first one that's referred to is where? Sorry,
Benalou is a small town close to El Campo de Gibraltar, close to Algeciras.
Known for anything in particular?
No, not really. Wait a second. I'm going to see if I can get. No, I don't have Google Earth installed to tell you. But basically, Benalou is a small town north of Algeciras, a little bit towards the east.
Okay.
It's just one of the many towns that dot El Campo de Gibraltar. There's nothing fantastic about it, which is why it's so weird. Because if he was going toward Cadiz, for instance, you would say, okay, he may be going there for business. But toward Benalou, there isn't really anything in Benalou there.
Is it in the mountains, or is it away from the mountains, or in other words, could the two places be kind of linked?
Anything in the areas in the mountains, because the whole place is very mountainous. I mean, if you go to the south of Spain, you can go from the beach and be lost in the mountains in 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Fine, we may be able to cross-reference it later. That might be okay. Just one thing, though, about the tone of his writing. When he's referring to her, is he referring to her in as kind of methodical or natural way?
Extremely methodical. This is the work of an obsessed man.
Okay, but that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's not neutral in the way he's written about her. There's obviously this passion that he's been feeling about her.
Absolutely. And you can tell that he has something against Ramon because he's actually watching him.
Does he ever mention himself being watched?
No.
In the diary? No. How far back does this go?
About 5 months before the disappearance of the girl.
Okay. And then there's nothing in the diary after that. It's like he stopped writing it.
Because he still keep tracks on Ramon, but you can see how the trips to Benalou, they are frequent but not regular. So it's not as if he goes every Monday or every Tuesday. It may go one Monday, and then the following week it's going on a Wednesday, and then the following week may go on a Tuesday. So it nearly goes on a weekly basis, but not on the same day of the week.
Okay. Nothing else in his wallet? I think you said we had his wallet, didn't we?
Yeah, but there is nothing else. A couple of, pesetas, notes, and little else.
Okay, no mightily convenient matchbook. Nothing like that. Okay. That's fine.
So now that you're in the open and enjoying a very refreshing heat, that it's a lot less oppressing than being inside, what are you going to do?
Well, that was just about the stupidest thing I've ever done. But at least we know what it looks like now. I wish I didn't, but at least we know what it looks like.
What was it?
I have no idea. I don't know. It looked like a dog-ish thing. It wasn't a dog, I can tell you that. It didn't have eyes, I can tell you that. It was big. 3 claws.
It was a demon. There's no other word for it.
For lack of a better description, see?
El Diablo. Huh.
So, are you heading to see Anna, or are you heading to see the parents? What are you going to do?
Anna, I would have thought.
I'm going to say, yeah, take up the invitation of Anna. I'm still processing at this point. I've become very, very quiet.
Okay, how are you going to get there? You're going to get a taxi. It's not particularly close.
But we still have a car.
You do? Can you drive it, though?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
But can you right now? I think is the point. Are you in any fit state
I
to?
think something mechanical and very kind of monotonous is probably what I need right now.
And it's the 20s. It's 1924, and it's lunchtime. There isn't going to be a lot of traffic, so
yeah,
I don't think you're going to be running over any.
I'm more thinking about kind of gear changes and pulling handbrakes and things like that rather than
engines are starting.
Yeah. Things that phase in and out of existence.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll take the car. That way we can kind of put the journalist stuff in the back of the boot, and Martin has his gun to hand.
Well, we'll have to stop off at the hotel, but yes. At this point, yes. He's fairly convinced it's not going to do anything, but I don't like carrying this,
No. So the first thing goes through my mind is how can you actually walk around with a whaling harpoon without being noticed?
Don't go after whales. I fish. You know this. What's wrong with you, man?
Oh God! And I start crying. Sat there, the wheel crying my eyes out. Not processing or dealing with it very well at all. And then I take take a deep breath and start the engine, and make our way to our destination. You can see he's white as a sheet. He's not processing, but he's gained his sanity enough to kind of get us to where we need to go.
Okay. You managed to arrive. You arrived to actually a very nice, you wouldn't call it a mansion, but it's a very nice state home surrounded by a small garden, which is walled by cast iron grid all over the place. It's a beautiful thing with orange trees planted outside and rose bush all over the place. It's absolutely delightful little place. You approach the door and you find a very nice knocker, which knock. And a couple of minutes later, not a couple of minutes, that's a bit too long. A few seconds later, the door opens and you find a redhead. This time her hair is completely falling on her back. She is wearing, uncharacteristically, a shirt, a jacket, and trousers. But you can still see her figure, and you can see she's a very lithe, very well kept woman. That's somebody who exercises an awful lot. Gentlemen, very nice to see you again. Wait, Inspector, correct?
Yes, yeah, Francisco Martinez. Thank you for
Are you okay?
for receiving us.
It's been a rough afternoon.
Can I have a glass of water or something, please?
By all means, of course, please come in.
Okay, thank you.
She leads you to a smoking room, where there is some very comfortable leather sofas and plenty of books and a big, massive desk with loads of paper all over it. And so please do take a seat. Is this just water that you would like, or may I offer you something stiffer?
Not at this stage. We've got a long journey ahead of us. I kind of look to the father to kind of take the impetus on this one. I'm still like, oh, shit.
Please take a seat. Can I call you Anna?
No, it is my name.
I know, but you may have preferred formality.
I just rather not have frivolity, but apart from that, yeah, I'm okay with Anna.
Wonderful. Take a seat.
Uh-huh.
So, tell us more about Rosario. And you received a letter from her, is that correct?
Well, we used to communicate, once, perhaps twice a month. Sometimes we've been doing so since ever.
You're from here, or you're from Algeciras?
No, I'm from here, just like Rosario was.
Okay. So when she lived there originally, did we know? Sorry, Paco. Did we know that she was originally from Seville? Have I just blanked that bit?
I think you didn't know that.
Okay. I didn't know that she was originally from here. I thought she'd always lived in Algeciras.
Oh no! She. Oh my God! Her story is so tragic. I am so sorry, Father. Please let me bring you up to speed. Okay. Rosario was born here, but her father unfortunately wasn't as good as an accountant as Seville needed, and therefore they decided 6 years ago to move away. And since Algeciras seems to be an up-and-coming town, they thought, okay, let's try there. And then he was doing very well. But up until 6 years ago, Rosario and we were going to school together, and well, basically everything that girls do together.
You were best friends, and I see. So you've maintained correspondence with her.
Of course.
Did you know she'd come back to Seville 6 months ago?
No, not at all. Had I known, I would have gone to visit and take her out of that wretched place.
So how did you find out about her passing?
Her parents told me.
I see. They sent you a letter, or?
Oh, they gave me a call. I have phones here,
Yeah, they just didn't mention it, which I thought was unusual.
Well, they have an awful lot in their minds at the moment, having lost their only daughter and all that.
Yeah, yes. So, these letters that you've been exchanging, was there anything in her last letter that...
Yes. Actually, she... excuse me a minute, please. She takes off, disappears, and about a minute later arrives with a massive glass of water with ice in it.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's clink, clink, clink.
Or something, and she looks at you drinking the whole thing and says, "Would you like some more?"
No, I think this will be fine. Thank you. Thank you for your kindness.
She departs and goes to a shelf nearby and takes a bottle of brandy and pours some brandy on your eyes and says, "I think that might do you a lot better than the water." and puts the bottle back. She's put a fair amount. She can see that you're a couple of shades of paler than you should be.
Yeah. I do take a sip of the brandy, but then I set the glass aside. Okay.
Yeah, he produces a letter and hands it to you. And the letter essentially tells how Ramon had increased his insistence of them becoming an item, and that he's shown her the origins of his power and how that has scared her to her core, and that she feels she's never going to be safe again anywhere, but she must try, for her parents' sake, to put some distance between Ramon and her, and the least she knows and anybody knows, the better, and that she trusts that this letter will only be shown to people in the most dire of circumstances and situations, and that she must never speak about her again with anybody ever, or her life could be in danger.
But it doesn't reveal the source of said power.
No. Only makes very clear that Ramon has an ace up his sleeve that it scared Rosario enough for her to actually want to leave town and leave her parents behind. She was very fearful for her life. Comparing the letter with previous letters, you can tell the writing is more chaotic, agitated, as if she's writing this in a state of anxiety.
Is the letter dated?
Yes, it is dated a day before she disappeared. So she sent the letter, say, on a Monday and disappeared on a Tuesday.
And in the previous letters, is there any indication of the depth of her relationship with Anna?
No, in fact, you actually know. The relationship with Anna, yes. I mean, you can tell they're very close, because the way that she speaks to Anna is not the way that you would hear anybody speak to anyone else that's not incredibly close. You know, that she speaks at great intimacy and discloses an awful lot of very intimate details that otherwise, it would be impossible. She even swears at some points, which is something that would be like, wow, then.
As long as she doesn't take the Lord's name in vain. It's fine.
No, but she said the S word and the F word from time to time.
Okay.
Right. I don't think we're going to get too much more from this. Other than kind of not wanting to kind of implicate Anna any further in this. I leave her with the letter, but I did transcribe what the letter actually says into my notebook. Okay.
Frank, wait a moment. Anna, have you heard anything from Ramon? Really?
Just one more thing, if I may. When you talked about the nunnery, you referred to it as that wretched place. Why did you say as such?
Any place that devotes so much money and time to the worship of, God, is a wretched place. Why? What secrets are they hiding to stop?
No. I just wondered kind of whether you were standing on the side of the fence. Obviously, you're an agnostic, I imagine.
It would be unseemly for me to speak of such matters with, somebody present.
That's fine. I don't want to push any kind of religious or political issues here at all. It's obviously, thank you for receiving us and kind of allowing us to see the letter and the correspondence. Obviously, if I will give you my card, if anything should happen or anything comes across that you feel that we should be made aware of, or if you yourself would like to speak to me further at any point, please feel free to contact me. There's my number.
Okay, thank you.
It's a very nice house you have here. The upkeep must be quite something. I noticed that the beautiful rose bushes and the orange trees, which was quite nice to see. And obviously your lavish apartments as well. Quite nice. What is it that you?
Are you surprised that a woman can be a business
No,
woman?
not at all. I'm very much a metropolitan man, and I don't see any reason why a woman shouldn't. But what is it that you do? I'm just intrigued. Business.
Yeah.
In
Imports, exports.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
A few rentals around the city.
She's kind of renting apartments and things like that.
Some shops as well. Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. No, it's great to see you doing well. That's fantastic. I mean, had you ever kind of approached Rosario and joining your business?
No.
At any point, that not being something you discussed?
No. I don't mix family or friends with my business.
On that note, Paco,
she's been quite cagey about what she does for a living there. Most people who are successful generally try to boast about it, which worries me slightly.
You can tell that more than cagey, she's a little bit defensive. You get the feeling that she's a little bit tired of men trying to explain to her how to do business when, she knows only so well how to do business better than most men. So she's kind of prepared for you to mansplain to her a couple of things, and she doesn't really
that
want
wasn't
to.
my intention at all. I was just kind of interested as to what she did for a living. That's all.
Paco, looking around this room and on any other rooms or corridors that we pass through, are there any family portraits or photographs, or is it devoid of those?
No, there's some family, and you can see some photographs of her and a couple of older people that you assume to be her parents. You see that couple in another photograph as well. You see her with some of the friends playing polo at some point as well, which is quite what the fuck is this all about? So yeah,
so it's a wealthy family that she's come from, as well as just her being a self-made woman.
No, she comes from a obviously very wealthy family.
Okay. Any of the photographs include Rosario?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah, but when they were little. They are several years old.
Okay. It's just that kind of stratification of society, trying to work out how they became friends, that I was... But I guess she was sort of middle class. She's maybe it's just because I'm English and we're obsessed with it. And any, particularly in, I guess, the smoking room, any bookcases, bookshelves?
Oh, loads. Yes.
And anything in particular about the books that strike me as... There's obviously no religious texts up there. Is it the kind of stuff I would expect to see? Is it for show, or are they books that are obviously read?
Some of them you can tell that they've been read. Some of them are just for show. There is a collection of all the works of Cervantes that has been bound so beautifully, and they've evidently been untouched. But on the other hand, you can also see a encyclopedia called Enciclopedia Temática Cieza. That's been very well looked at. It's a very well established encyclopedia in Spain that was going on for years and years and years. And in the 1920s, it was kind of like the thesaurus of encyclopedias in Spain.
Okay. Fine.
So
I'm not
she
going to get
said,
anything more.
so gentlemen, if, as I said, if I may be of assistance at some point, I would be delighted to help however I can. And if you catch her murderer, I would be most grateful. Inspector,
Yes, Anna.
Do you think it would help if I placed a reward?
No. No, I don't, because I think that would probably draw attention towards you.
Okay.
I think at this stage, the best thing you can do is just outwardly show the grief that anyone would for a missing friend or a lost friend who's passed on, and just go about his business as usual.
Okay. Well, in that case, allow me to accompany you to the door, and thank you for coming.
Very kind. Thank you for your time.
And your hospitality.
Yes, certainly.
Yes,
And the brandy. That was very kind of you.
I wish you could say it's my pleasure, but I also wish, please don't take this in the wrong way, I wish I never met you.
I can't say the same. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
You are at the door.
May I pick an orange? May I pick an orange on the way out, please?
Yeah, by all means. Are you going to bite into it?
No, I'm just going to take and put it in my pocket for the time being.
Yeah. You have an orange in your pocket.
There we go.
I can know on your character sheet, Terry, otherwise it doesn't count.
Orange. So next time I smell yellow, I can put it with the orange.
There you go, problem solved.
There we go. We get a lighter orange. Yeah.
I'll merely say God bless and leave.
She looks at you when you say that. She looks at you and said, "I doubt that."
Nevertheless,
Okay.
I've got this sense.
What is this modern woman?
It's too obvious that everything's pointing towards him.
Sorry? It's too obvious. What kind of detective are you? It's too obvious that man running away with a bag of swag over his shoulder stole it. Inspector, the hard thing here is you have no evidence to convict him in a conventional sense.
There's nothing to connect him at this stage, no.
Absolutely nothing whatsoever.
No.
Nevertheless, we are convinced that he has something to do with it. Somehow he has summoned a demon. He has made a pact with the devil. From the notes we've got from what she's just said, it's either somewhere in the mountains or somewhere in Benaloup that he, if I pronounce that correctly, that he has made this pact. Therefore, I think it's simple that we need to find out more. Whether we do that by going back to Algeciras or whether we go straight to Benaloup, I don't know. Maybe we should ask Rosario's father if he had any business dealings, whether he knows if Ramon have any business dealings in Benaloup or in the mountains, because he is his accountant.
That's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
We may be listened into when we do it.
Well, this is the thing that keeps on worrying me now is kind of how many people is, well, he's obviously a connected man. But how many other people of power connected to him may be linked to his dealings?
We have no way of knowing, therefore there's nothing we can do about it. So we just have to accept it for now until we find out more or can do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't know can hurt us. We just won't know it's going to hurt us until it does.
Mm-hmm.
That's a reassuring thought.
I like to issue these homilies every now and again. I don't know who's best speaking to Rosario's father.
I think maybe I should.
Yeah, maybe. I think you have
You two seem a little shaken.
I'm fine, but I think you have a better relationship with him.
Which is strange because we never talked to each other before, but no.
Maybe he likes the smell of fish.
One of these days I'm going to throw you in the bay. I'm not kidding.
I will take my dominoes with me, and you will regret it forever.
More weight sink you to the bottom.
Okay, you head towards where the parents are staying. They're packing because they want to leave for Algeciras first thing in the morning in their car. But they welcome. Looks at you, Martin, again. So thank you very much for your help today. You know, we don't know what came over that man. We just hope we're never going to see him again.
I think that's a safe thing to wish for.
Mm-hmm.
He's very disturbed. I do not think you will run into him again.
Good. We sincerely hope so. So, anyway, gentlemen, is there anything that we can do for you that you would like to discuss?
There was a woman at the funeral today. Her red hair?
Yes, Anna. My daughter's friend, yeah.
Very curious. It seems like the two of them would move in different circles.
Well, it depends what you consider to be different circles.
I'm just a fisherman turned deputy. I know little of such things.
Well, you see, how can I put this? God moves in the same circle.
All right. Is there anything we can do for you before you leave?
Not at this stage. I just need to look after my wife, and I'm beginning to make sense of this, and at least the funeral has given us some closure. Now we just need to get to grips with the notion that we're never going to see our daughter again.
That's difficult. The closest I would have come was losing men in the war, but that is not the same thing. Not even close.
Mm-hmm.
We will do what we can to find out what has happened. So, you have closure. Perhaps we will be able to provide some justice.
Sincerely hope so. Don't know how this could possibly happen. Yes.
Did Anna have any dealings in the mountains? I know she's a successful businesswoman.
Anna, in the mountains? What on earth are you talking about?
I overheard a snatch of conversation. I'm a terrible eavesdropper. A small town in the mountains. Nothing important, I'm sure.
Anna in the mountains?
Maybe I misheard. What was the town's name?
I think you mean Ramon, not Anna.
Oh, that's right, Ramon.
Oh, well, Ramon has businesses all over the place. Where do you mean?
Benelux?
No. I mean, Ramon has a number of businesses. One of them is a cattle farm, and I'm sure that he sells meat all over the place. But he wouldn't do that. One of his men would do that for him. But I'm sure that he sells pretty much any town in the region. So,
does he have any connections with that area, with Benelux, or with the mountains nearby?
Not that I know
of. Okay.
Now, forgive me, inappropriate. It's my mind. It goes all over the place sometimes.
No. Please do feel free to speak freely with me. Anything, any information I can do that will get you closer to finding my daughter's murderer. That I can do. That's totally fine.
We'll take a brief side trip up to Benelux.
How would you feel if it transpired that Ramon had something to do with it? I'm not saying he did.
You know, Father, I am going to be very honest because it's you. And I don't think that lying to a clergyman is a good idea, but I don't care if it is Ramon or anybody else. I just want you to catch whoever did it. If it's Ramon, then so be it. And if it is anybody else, so be it. I just want justice for my daughter, for my beautiful, beautiful daughter.
Understood. I will leave you in peace. Thank you.
Any of you is going to say or ask him anything else?
Not at the moment. Like I said, Martin is trying to be careful here. He seems peculiarly embarrassed by the whole thing, despite the fact that, we fought a howling devil dog just, a couple of hours ago. And by fight, I mean we screamed at it a lot. Both of you take care.
I am. Well, my tactic at the moment is not to ask so much questions, but listen to what people are saying and their inflections and their reactions to questions and their facial expressions when that happens. I don't think he's protecting anyone. I don't think he knows an awful lot. I am interested as to why they moved to from Seville, and this mention of him of not being a very good accountant and then suddenly being a very successful accountant causes me interest. I would love to have a look at the books at some point, but that's not a situation that we can broach at this moment in time. I mean, they've literally had the funeral today. I mean, the man must be beside himself. I do also. I will ask one question, if I may, before we go. Do you just account for his business, or do you also account for his personal outgoings as well?
I account for everything.
Everything. Thank you. Thank you. I may have a question or two for you later, if you don't mind, at a more appropriate date, if that's okay.
I don't mind at all. Anything you need.
Thank you.
Frank, why
Yes.
why are you asking the question now? He wants to find his daughter's murderer. He will answer any question you ask now.
I just don't think it's appropriate at the moment. I mean, have there been purchases recently made to shops or emporiums or museums or anything like that would be out of the ordinary for him, or big buys or books or anything like that?
Well, he receives antiques from time to time. But other than that, no, not really.
Is it normally from the same place or a range of different places?
Oh, no. From all over the place. The last place was from Jordan, and he's received antiques from South America as well, and a couple of them from Asia.
So does he buy these at auctions himself, or does he have someone who buys for him?
That I don't know. I only account for the money coming and going. How he purveys those items, I don't know. I haven't even seen them.
Right, okay.
So, do you know the description of any of them? Any of the items?
No, not really.
Just noted down as antique purchase, and then a price.
Yes,
right.
That's what Ramon tells me, so that's what I do.
Okay.
Does he sell them at all?
No, as far as I know, he just keeps them.
Do you know where?
I suppose it's home. I don't know. I'm not privy to that sort of environment, so I don't know.
I think these are the kind of questions we could probably ask the people at the docks of the import-export.
Very true.
I'm not going to press you any further. Obviously, I'd let you to kind of spend time with your wife and I'd take your solace there. Obviously, it's affected me quite deeply as well. We'll leave you, I think, to take evening tea and prepare yourself.
Okay.
And obviously, you have my commiserations and any assistance I can afford you in the future. Please, you only need to ask.
Yeah, well, if the inspector says yes, that's fine. I'm curious as to the role of an accountant when your client obviously isn't sharing all information with you. How you avoid misaccounting for things. If he tells you a certain amount has been paid for an antique, my understanding was that you needed a receipt to confirm the amount so that the relevant taxes were paid in the right way. Is that not correct?
That is correct, yes.
And the receipt never states anything about what the items were.
No, it just mentions antique.
But it will occasionally have the auctioneer's name or
yes.
where they.
Yes, that's how I know. Sometimes they come from South America, sometimes they come from last one was from Jordan, another one came from Asia. So yeah.
So you could share with us a couple of the auctioneer's names.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, we'll get that off him at least.
Sure, but obviously I don't have the data with me at the moment, so I'm afraid we'll have to go back to Algeciras for me to be able to give you that information. I don't know how that can be of any help. Are you going to go to Jordan or South America?
See, my thinking at this point, and this out of character, is I don't want to push him too much because I don't want to get the evil eye on us again and kind of.
If we get the evil eyes, we get the evil eyes. It happens. If it's not happening when I'm asking the questions, then it's not being observed as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So as soon as I feel it, yes, I will stop and change my questions. But I have to make the assumption that I'm not being viewed the rest of the time. And so, yeah, we may come back and see you in Thursday. Try and get
my source of paranoia now. Enclosed spaces and being watched.
I'm just thinking that and we'll talk about this after we've left Paco and discussing it in front of them. But I'm thinking if we find out the auctioneer, we find out the value. It's an easy call for you to make to say something was purchased on this date for this amount of money. What was it? Because the chances of that amount being paid for more than one item is pretty slim.
And link it up to what they're saying, whether it is actually been officially brought through the docks and it's been written off, or whether there's no record of it and it's coming in under cover of darkness. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, I think it makes sense that kind of line of investigation as soon as you get back to Algeciras. But right now, I mean, you are 200 kilometers away. There's no way that you can get any kind of info from there.
So it's now 5 p.m. thereabouts?
About 7.
That's 7. Oh, we were there that long. Okay, so we're going to need to stay the night before we move on, aren't we? And then decide whether or not we drive to Algeciras or whether we drive to.
Well, we can at least make it to the next town. That's another potential, so we can actually get ourselves out of Seville as we've been asked to do so to the next town.
That's fine. You're driving, so.
or at least a hostelry or a kind of something outside of town. So we're making motion towards.
I'm fine with that. You're the one doing the driving, so it's your choice entirely.
So maybe we'll do that, Paco. We'll take the car and kind of go to either the next village or at least a kind of some sort of hostelry outside of the city limits.
Yeah, you managed to do that without any kind of issues. There's no particular
Travel
problem.
watch.
Travel-wise, you're absolutely fine. You get 30 kilometers away from Seville before you need to rest.
Yeah. And when we get out the car, I'm going to hit the drink the big time.
Okay, and I think this is a good time to stop for today.
Sounds
Wonderful.
good.
Yeah.